In this next episode, MJ opens up about the turning point in his life, when a trusted friend inside the congregation betrayed his confidence, setting off a chain of events that left him homeless, heartbroken, and searching for answers. What began as faith soon became survival. Let's pick up where we left off.
That I
Yeah,
could
let's talk
say.
about that. So what
Okay.
was going on? So like you had all these doubts and everything. You're thinking about Holy Spirit and
Yeah.
your dad is, leaving. Anthony Morris situation's going on. What other things are transpiring at that time that's really, tugging at you?
So when I did my digging on Anthony Morris to try to find out, what happened to him, I came across the 2015 Australian Royal Commission. That was huge for me. With children and myself, with the whole 1,000 cases in Australia that went unnoticed by the organization keeping secret of child abuse. And I started to watch YouTube after that because I found that out through. It's funny because there was an apostate friend who I was speaking to at the time that I didn't know was an apostate, and he had sent me that link to the Australian Royal Commission, and I rubbed it. I shrugged it off for a bit. Went out to YouTube. That Australian Royal Commission came up again, so then that's when I really watched it. And I came across channels, XJW Diaries, um, JT and Lady C. I don't know if you know them, and Berean Pickets. So those were the three that I was watching, and obviously you guys and everyone else started talking about the rest of the issues with the organization. But my biggest thing was disfellowshipping and shunning. So I saw a friend of mine who I thought was my best friend, and I started asking him or just letting him know, something I don't agree with. And he, for a couple months, we went back and forth on this doctrine. He ultimately decided to agree with everything I was saying. At the time, I thought he was just siding with me, but I ended up finding out he was pretending to be an apostate just to gather information from me. Like we would do phone calls, he would record them. We would do text messages. He would record those as well, and put it all in a PDF document and sent it to a bunch of people. And that's how I got outed. And I went through hell during that time. I got kicked out of softball chats. I got kicked out of uh, everything. My baby shower, people canceled. It was terrible. And I could keep going from here, but it was a lot. And I went through a really dark depression because of it.
Oh, he actually acted like he was an apostate, like somebody had left the organization.
Yep. Yep. Pretty much. Yeah.
And then, so what did he do? Did he like omit his
Oh,
part in the audio?
so yeah, what he did was I remember one time or one day after the convention, he sends me a text. So for a while he stopped talking to me. Um and I didn't really question that, but he stopped talking to me for a while. It wasn't until the convention ended one day, and I get a text message from him, and he says, "I agree with everything that you said." He had a bunch of like he drew like a graph of with arrows and stuff like pointing to scriptures, and like he had the governing body up here, he had this fellowshipping down here, he had Jesus, compassion. He just a bunch of drawings, and he sent me that picture in a text message and saying, "I agree with everything you're saying, everything makes sense. I don't think I can support this organization anymore. Let's sit down and talk." But he says, "I can't talk because my wife is around, so let's just text for now." And that's what happened. And we just kept texting back and forth until he asked me what websites I was visiting. I told him JW Facts, avoidjw.org, and a couple YouTubers. And then he just went silent for a while. And it wasn't until one brother from the congregation came up to me and told me, "What's this?" And it was that PDF document of our entire conversations. So,
Wow.
yeah.
You know what? I think that's why people are afraid to say anything online. And like, even when people email us, they'll say, please don't use my name. And we don't do that anyway. But yeah, I guess people could be trying to do that and try to, like, find out who you are and what
Yeah.
you are all about. Why do you think he chose you?
It's interesting because I to be honest, I really don't know, because this was my best friend in the congregation. Like, I used to break dance. I was a b-boy, and he was my partner. We would do competition, like we would do shows together, like we would do gatherings, we would dance. We spent pretty much our entire JW life together, sleepovers, this and that, and he was my best friend. So that he's the one who I confided in, and someone who I can rely on for comfort, for just to alleviate some of this stress that I was going through, all this confusion, depression. And for him to just do this, it was just, it caught me off guard. Like, I did not expect it at all. That's the scary part, because we're all brothers and sisters in the organization, until someone questions, until someone uh, uh, thinks outside the box, and then all of a sudden they're an entire different person. It's that crazy, that scary. So
That's right.
I couldn't tell you why he chose me or nothing. I don't know how or why.
Well, see, what my thing is, a lot of times, like, so when you were talking to him and confiding in him, is this during the time when you're dealing with this? Is the governing body, have God's Holy Spirit?
So when that happened, a brother in the congregation, in the group chat, posted it in the group chat, and I was wondering why it happened. When I did find out about the Australian Royal Commission stuff, yeah, I guess I could say I did ask in the group chat if it was okay that our elders or the governing body keep secrets from us. And I told them, because if you watch the news, this is happening, that's happening. And so I'm not sure if maybe that's why he was picking on me. I didn't go into details or anything. I was just trying to see who, who I can, I guess, you know, not snap out of, but like just get them to also question and see if I'm not crazy, see if
Mhm.
they think the same. So I could say maybe that's why he probably thought I was weak, and he's like, okay, let me try to get it out of him, and then if I do get it out of him, I'm gonna bury him. I don't know. That's just my
Yeah,
thought
and
process.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, because if this person was really the friend that you say they were, and all the things you were doing and everything,
Mhm.
that was not a friend. Because a friend just wouldn't just, like, one day you're friends hanging out, and all of a sudden you just gonna just take me to the cleaners like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it
it makes
makes me
no sense.
wonder if he had said something to somebody and then they were like saying, bring it all the way out. Because it's hard to say what even transpired. I'm not even gonna try to
Right,
open that
and,
can of worms.
I don't want
But
to.
they were not, that guy was not your friend.
Right, right, and the thing is, I don't want to like blame anyone, but I do know that he was taking studies at the time, so maybe he was afraid. He might have said something to his Bible study, to his conductor or whatever, and that might have scared him, and he might have just said, "Okay, well, I gotta get this friend out of my life or something," and just that's what he did.
Oh, he wasn't
So,
baptized?
so this is the thing, right? I didn't know he was taking studies. I found out through another brother. Then after the or during the convention, he got baptized. So, and that was also, he told nobody about. Like, that was just random. He got baptized at the convention, and so I don't know. I had this theory that maybe uh, I don't even want to say it, but maybe he just got baptized and just felt like he wanted to. I don't know. I can't really tell you. I just don't understand why he would do that, and I have no
Because
words.
wait a minute, like, now, are you guys both the same age, right?
Pretty much, yeah. About 2 years apart.
Okay, so now you just woke up 2 years ago,
Yep.
and you're 35 now.
Yep.
So when did he throw you under the bus?
So yeah, that was around 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So this whole time you didn't realize he wasn't studying, that he wasn't baptized?
No, well, I knew that he wasn't baptized. I just didn't know that he wasn't studying. Because he was also someone who questioned the organization for a long time. He was
Oh, he was
very
questioning when you
stubborn.
guys were talking about stuff.
He was a
Okay.
very stubborn person. We knew he didn't want to get baptized because he was a stubborn brother. He did his own thing. He didn't call in service. He was just very nonchalant, lazy. So that was another reason why I went up to him to confide into. I thought that he would be the perfect person. Yeah,
But you just never know. I'm just saying that anything can happen because
right.
I had a sister who was in my congregation, and I was
Mhm,
trying to find people that had left. And
mhm,
I'm not gonna lie, when we reconnected, I ended up getting her a job at the place where I was working.
mhm.
And when she came to my job, she really did a number on me.
Yeah,
She knew that me and my boss did not get along because we were talking about it on the phone before she got hired. And when she got on the job, she became best friends with my boss.
that hurt me greatly. It affected me a lot. Like, the things that I did after that was like I was so angry. I remember sitting at the end of my bed just alone, screaming and just yelling. And I even blamed at the time I was blaming Jehovah for everything. Like, I was just so angry with everything. And I'm like, I worked so hard to be where I'm at, to be a ministerial servant, to do all this, to go through what I went through, and then from my only friend, my best friend, I'm sorry, to just do this, and I was just so angry. And then it was just that the cases with the CSA and all the false doctrines, everything, it was just all at once.
So I'm
Yeah,
I'm just so sorry that all that happened to you and just everything coming hitting you at the blind. So what
yeah.
happened after that?
So I at the time I was living with my in-laws, and my in-laws, the reason for this is because my wife and I were trying to save money for a house. We were going to buy a house. Um, when all this went down, obviously, I told you I was kicked out of these softball chats, and people canceled my baby shower, this and that. My father-in-law found out. He ended up kicking me out of the house, and obviously, I wasn't in talking terms with my mom either. She was upset. She found out about my me questioning my friend and the documents and whatever. And I fell into this huge depression. I ended up sleeping in my car, and I was homeless for a couple of months. And at the time, my wife, even my own wife, and I had disagreements because here I am choosing 30 something years in the organization, believing it was the truth, and here I am choosing the world, and knowing that I have kids and that she's pregnant, and we would argue, and it wouldn't go well, and I ended up sleeping in my car for a couple of months, and it was I almost attempted to take my own life. It was just a really bad moment for me. And eventually, I got a spare room. I'm in the spare room now. Like, it was a lot. um but
Yeah,
it
what was
sucked.
that like? So when you were homeless, you
Mhm.
know, were you still working your job?
Yeah, so I was still working. I would work, go to my car, sleep. I would find a truck stop somewhere to shower. I ended up buying an air mattress, fill that up in my car, and then just repeat the cycle the next day. And I'll just keep working, saving money for an apartment. And I was saving up. I got this spare room because this is actually my cousin's house. My cousin, who is someone I haven't spoke to since I was a child, found out because I during this whole time I did find out about an apostate friend in the congregation, and he actually put the word out that I was homeless, and that was when my cousin found out, and I got this spare room because of it. So yeah,
That's amazing. And when you really think about why are you homeless? What's going on?
right.
You questioned the validity of these men in New York City.
Hmm.
You're saying, I don't know if I believe this is the truth, to the point where now this guy who is supposed to be your best friend is making you think that you're having conversations in private, and now he's sending all this information to people who really shouldn't be seeing it, and kind of like what I would call a setup,
You
setting
said I
you
was.
up to make you look bad so that you can now be considered an apostate, which is a very, very bad thing in this religion. And then what happens? You're homeless.
Yeah.
So it's so, because a lot of times people say, well, he must have did something wrong, to be homeless, you know.
Yeah, and that's the and then that's a, it's that's what everybody thinks. That's the conclusion everybody comes to. But no, I mean, I was someone that was. I'm very quiet. I can be shy. I'm not anymore because I'm rediscovering who I am now, and I know who I am now. But at the time, I always felt like people were better than me, so I always withdrew a lot of comments I thought about saying, especially spiritually. I was someone who felt like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't spiritual enough. So I would, what's that word when you reserve? When I was reserving
Would you
words.
like have low self-esteem?
Yeah, so I was very a calm person. I wasn't someone who would debate. And I would keep things to myself. So
Oh,
it's
you
not
were
like I asked
passive.
for it.
Oh, you were passive.
Yes, I was. Yes. And so I'm not someone who deserved the kind of comments that I got, because he even told everyone that I was dangerous, that I was someone not worth talking to because I could steer them in the wrong direction and blah blah blah. So
Well, do
yeah,
you
it was.
think that, okay, even though you thought that you weren't um worthy or whatever, or you felt like you had low self-esteem,
Mhm.
do you think other people looked at you that way, or did you really have a lot of people that liked you?
No, a lot of people loved me. A lot of people liked me, and I always got compliments when I made comments. When I was up there giving talks, I always got the compliments. They always told me I had great potential. I was always the one doing most of the time doing the ending meeting prayers. They would choose me for like last minute talks. Like everyone loved me. That I would get invited everywhere, and I just had that
You
side
were
of
the
me.
it guy.
Yeah, I,
So
I
let me say this. That's what the problem was. He was jealous. The guy was jealous of you.
my wife told me the same thing.
Yeah. And when you're telling the story about being asked to do all these things, I'm seeing you on the platform. I'm seeing you close with prayer. I'm seeing you be that person that was probably handling the literature counter and all that kind of stuff. And then
Yeah,
I'm also seeing this other guy looking to the sidelines, saying, "Look at him. He think he's all that."
my
Was.
wife told me the same thing, and I did think about that. Um,
Mhm. And because you're so close to this person, you didn't realize you had done crossed that line, and he was using it against you the whole time and trying to do everything he did to
yeah,
break you down.
it's not like the stuff that I told him about was just me with opinion. Everything was fact based. I showed him links. I talked about the websites. I even had a letter. I made a letter that I wanted to give to my mom, that I wanted to give to my friends. And it was a very humble letter. Like, it had nothing to do with me attacking the organization, just my thoughts. I had scriptures laid out of why I thought this way, how I want to get against scripture. I even asked questions in my letter to ask, like, is this something that you think as well? I put myself in their shoes because I was afraid of this exact thing to happen. And when I sent him that letter, I felt like such a relief. I'm telling my best friend about this. He's the first person that can proofread this letter for me, which he even said he would do. And and then here I am, and here it is. It's not like I gave him reason to think that I was such, a
Yeah.
bad case. You know,
I think it's really bad because he was pretending like he was questioning too. I think that was the real bad thing about it.
yeah, I still to this day think he was just afraid. He's just scared, and um, like there were a few times where I reserved a bunch of text messages. I just wanted to just blow up on him and just go crazy. But I held back. As a matter of fact, last year I sent him a text message. 'Cause I was just thinking about it. I was like, maybe he's just scared. He was just scared. So I sent him a message and I said, listen, and I sent it through WhatsApp because you can tell when they read it. So I
Mhm.
sent
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I was like, listen, even though I'm in this position today, and it was because of you that I'm here and nobody talks to me, I still want you to know that if you come to terms with what I did and what I understand, just know that I'll be here waiting for you with a drink in hand. So just to let him know, I'm not holding grudges. Um, I told my wife this, and she's like, "You're crazy. Just don't do that. Like, he messed up. You should have sent him that." But I'm like, "Listen, I just don't want to create enemies. I don't want to make sure that he knows that when he goes through this too, that I'm willing to be there, even though technically he don't deserve it. But I just that's just the type of person I am. So like I'm telling you, I don't understand what I did wrong for him to do this to me. But that's just
I'm telling you right now, you walk away from that situation because that already happened to me. And I realized that people are in a situation where they don't know what they don't know about this religion. And
yeah.
this person was going to do wrong, regardless if they were a Jehovah's Witness or not. So I would tread that water very lightly. I mean, I wouldn't even think about because you don't have to prove anything to anybody. I wouldn't even trust a relationship like that. To me, it was the way he did it. So
Hmm.
you don't owe him nothing. You ain't got to be
Yeah.
mean. You ain't got to be, vindictive.
Mhm.
But I mean, did you get therapy? Did you go to see a therapist?
Yes, I did seek therapy, especially after I was hospitalized. I saw therapy, and it was a good time. I didn't know that you could talk to your therapist about your religion. I everything. I told her everything. And that was awesome because here I am for the first time telling somebody something and getting to see their reaction, their eyes opening, their jaws dropping, like, "What? No way." And all of a sudden to me, it felt like, okay, finally, I don't seem so crazy to think this. Like, someone else also thinks this way. And it's like I'm trying to throw my wife under the bus that I didn't talk to her or got that same reaction. It's just that it took her a while because, she was invested in the religion for so long. But here I am talking to someone who's never been part of the religion, a therapist, and finally confirming, like, wow, like this, I really did do something right here. I defended God. I defended my brain, my own being. Like I got to get out of something that was harming me, especially now that I had a whole friend that I thought was a whole friend and it turned out not to be. Can you imagine me going, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years more into this religion and then him doing it then? Like, So I counted my blessings and I said I'm in a better place now than I was inside. Because I first of all, I didn't know anything about what it's like to seek therapy. I didn't know I don't know any like I didn't even go to the doctor like for anything. Like I don't know anything. Anything that was outside Jehovah's Witness, I didn't know. Like I wasn't experienced. Like I didn't like when I left the organization, I didn't even know how to all right, I'll be real with you. The wife that I have now is my second wife. So when I left the organization, I didn't even know how to date. Like I just didn't know anything. Um, but that's just it's crazy.
Is
Oh
your
yeah,
current wife, is she a witness?
so yes, no, she's not a witness anymore. She left. So this is how it all went down. Just a real quick, a real short story. Long story short. So and then I was married to who is now my ex-wife. Sorry, we had gotten a divorce. And I still had my privileges. I was still a ministerial servant. Um, and I ended up remarrying someone who was in the congregation, who was a pioneer. And so we ended up living with her in laws after we got married, or my in laws, her parents. When everything went down and I got outed from the organization because of my friend, we I ended up my father-in-law ended up finding out and he kicked me out of the house. And I was living in my car, even though my wife was still living in her parents' house. So that was a tough marriage, and we had disagreements, but eventually my wife, you know, came to my side with the fact that I was being treated a certain way from my friend. Um, that aided her into believing the things I was saying, but it also had to do with my her pregnancy, with the blood transfusion doctrine, where I had to talk her basically out of it because I was afraid if something were to happen to her or her child or our child. I wanted her to understand what it really meant to refuse blood. So that helped her out to come out of the religion. And until this day, we're still currently married. We're happily married, and we're both out.
Excellent.
Hmm.
And and both of you are staying with your cousin?
Yes. Hmm.
And how are things going?
It's tough with all the kids, small room, and no privacy. We have privacy, but it's like my cousin has her own kids, so it gets pretty loud in the house. But we get by. We're still trying to find a way to save up money to buy a home, and it's a process, but it's getting better. So,
How has the Jehovah's Witness way of life affected you with employment and education?
uh, so it sucks because I was actually going to college when I was in the organization. Um, the brothers kind of pushed me to drop out of college because at the time when I was dating years ago, dating my first wife, I had to find a job. I needed money. And so the brothers were encouraging me not to keep doing college because it could not only affect my financial status, but also affect my spirituality. And so they had me out of the college. They pretty much talked me out of going to college or continuing on. So that affected me because I was working to be a laser optics, electro optics technician, which I could have been making a lot more money now, but obviously that didn't pan out that way. So now that I am out of the religion, it is something that I decided to focus more on career wise, where I ended up learning how to be a photographer, got a certificate in that. So I do photography on the side. I do weddings, videography, and that side of things helped me with my YouTube career, where I got to develop or take those skills with me and do video editing and provide for my audience the videos that I provide. You know,
Wow. Now, when you took the classes, were you taking classes at community college, or was it just a
yep.
certificate program?
For the regular for the laser electro optics, that was
Yeah.
community college. Yep. And then for photography, it was an online course. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about the community college? Do you still have those credits available to you?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. To be
And you
honest,
don't
but
know how long ago it's been? How long ago has it been?
yeah, it's been about 9 years.
They're still there. Do you know how many
They still,
classes you took?
I was taking like 3 or 4 classes. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a good amount of credits there. Yeah,
Well, just go. All you got to do is go to the college and give them your credentials, and they'll pull you up.
yeah, that's something.
And they'll
Yeah,
let you
cool.
know if that they'll even let you know if the classes that you took, would go to another program because they probably changed things by now. But I would definitely go back in and start those classes again, and was just start my um. I would go ahead and start back in school and from the community college level, and I would do one class a semester or whenever you could because
Yeah.
as each semester goes by, you just be closer and closer to getting something, you know.
Hmm.
I would
Yeah.
definitely look into that because, it's pretty bad because see, if you would have stuck with your education, you would have graduated by now,
Yeah.
you know.
That's true. That was something
Yeah.
that they were hammering too. Like, oh, you're going to be there for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's just going to keep going on, and it's just
Yeah.
a waste of time. And paradise and Armageddon is around the corner. So,
Yeah. And so how many kids do you have now? Your wife
so
is
I,
pregnant and you got what, 2 kids? So you got 3 kids?
yep. So I have one with my first wife, and then I have her son, which is my stepson, and then now we have a child together. So we have 3 kids. So my first son is 7, her son I mean, my first son is 8, her son is 7, and then we have a 1-year-old together,
Okay.
turning 2
Yeah.
pretty soon, yeah.
So that's very challenging because you're trying to make ends meet. If it was just you and her, it would be a lot easier because you'd only have, kids and childcare.
Right,
But yeah,
right.
it is very hard. And when you think about the way the religion did you and then all the stuff that just came down on you at once, that was oh my goodness, I don't even know how I would have handled something like that. How
Yeah.
are you? Because you said that you did try to, you know, is that when you tried to commit? I
Yeah.
don't want to say it on camera. Anyway,
No, right, yeah,
so
there was a moment in time when I was, homeless that I attempted to, harm myself gravely, and I was hospitalized. And, that was a dark time because I was also thinking about, my friend. I was thinking about how my wife and I weren't really clicking, and, I have my kids and I have nowhere to live, and it was bad. And, I was also a very angry person after this. After leaving, I was a very angry person. I went through the depression first. I
mhm.
went through, I started accepting, and then, but it wasn't until after accepting that I got really angry with, because after being depressed and finally accepting and knowing that I didn't do anything wrong, that what I believed was, um, what I was starting to believe was the real truth, and that's when the anger came and took a huge toll on me.
Yeah. Is that when you tried to harm yourself? Is that when you started talking to the therapist?
Yes. After I
Okay,
was after I was hospitalized, that's why I saw therapy, and I spoke to her, and things got a lot better after that.
that's
Definitely.
good. Are you
Yeah.
still in therapy?
No, but I do, once in a while, ask for a session or 2. Usually when, because I still suffer from depression, and I take, medication for it. Um,
Okay.
and it has a lot to do with also my videos and the stress that puts me under, and my own mom, from time to time I still have to keep in contact with her because of my son, because she's the one who picks him up from school from time to time for me. um so that's a little difficult. And obviously we're not in talking terms, so like it becomes hard. So that's hurts because, there was a time where she said that she was disowning me, that I was the devil. So I still always hold that. It's the back of my head. So when I'm going through something, I think of those times. So that's why I take my medication for, and during those times I will seek therapy. Yeah. So, but
Yeah. You're going through a lot. I think that do you think that maybe because you're doing the videos, that's why she's angry?
so when I started doing YouTube, it wasn't until, uh, maybe my 4th video she saw that she thought I was being a little obnoxious and silly, and she only came across as, not like I told her about it or whatever. And from that moment on, it changed things where I'm doing videos more seriously, going down a different path, and, because of that, that's what basically turned her off in a sense, where she doesn't believe the things that I say. She thinks that I'm just up to no good all the time because of
Well, yeah, they're gonna think that because you're talking against the organization.
right,
But, I mean, because she is dealing with you with your son, that says a little bit of something right there because, I see people cut you totally off, nothing, just
yeah,
nothing. But then again, you have to also be careful because she's probably trying to talk to him about the religion.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
probably
That's
probably
something.
feeding him that rhetoric. Yeah.
That's something that, I've had to tell her too, because she's always, talking about having her or him go with her to the Kingdom Hall. She's always telling him to pray and, to go to the Kingdom Hall. And, like, behind my back, she'll say it to him. My
Yeah.
in-laws do the same thing. So yeah,
That's why
it,
she's doing the, picking up from the school, because she's using that time to try to, um,
be the
tell
nice
him about
guy.
this religion. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you got your hands full. You got a lot to deal with,
Yep. Every
and
day.
just we're thinking about you, praying for you because it's not gonna it's a hard situation to be in,
Yeah.
especially when you need somebody to help you because, like, okay, so your wife that you're married to now, so I'm assuming her parents never came around because you're not staying with them anymore. What's going on
Right.
with them?
So with them, my father-in-law, he's a very, he's somebody. He's something. He doesn't allow. All right, let me tell you about my mother-in-law first. She's a sweet person. She also takes care of our 2-year or our 1-year-old. She babysits him, and her and my wife and her are actually in good terms. They do talk. She understands that my wife doesn't go to the Kingdom Hall anymore, and it's okay with her. However, my father-in-law, he's a totally different person. If I text my mother-in-law just to say, "Hey, I'm coming over to pick up the baby," he finds out, he blocks my phone number from her phone, or he'll text me using her phone, being obnoxious. Like, he's a very rude and obnoxious guy. Um, Even when I left, he sent me death threats through text messaging. It was just he's a very crazy guy. So
What is his status in the organization?
he's nothing. He never had any privileges. He's just been the guy that goes to the Kingdom Hall to comment and go home. That was it.
So
Yes.
this is his spiritual moment to terrorize you, right? This is
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
always those ones that don't have no, position, title, never wanted to be nothing, ain't trying to do nothing. Is the one that's over here trying to act like they so righteous for Watchtower,
And it's
you
the
know?
ones that do try and do that have something and they want to tear you apart.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his way of trying to show them that he's a strong man, you know.
Yep. Yep.
Well, yeah, well, you got your hands put, you got your hands tied and
I know.
a lot to deal with, but I thank you for coming out sharing your story because I think what really resonates with your story with me is the fact that you had this person that was trying to pretend like they were your friend, all to the tune of,
Yeah.
just messing up your whole life because you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have just came out and told people anything about what you were questioning if it wasn't for the fact that, this you thought this person was questioning too.
Right.
Because you
Right.
thought you had a partner in crime leaving out of here, all to the tune of he was throwing you under the bus, making you think that he was on the same page.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? And I
Yep.
say partner in crime in terms of, y'all was gonna be getting up out of here at the same time.
Yeah. We did so many things
You
together.
know? So, based on your personal experience dealing with this so-called friend of yours, what kind of advice would you give to anyone that's questioning, thinking that they have a friend at the Kingdom Hall?
I would say keep things to yourself. Do not trust anybody in the organization. Seek outside help if you have to. Seek therapy if you have to. And that's my advice when it comes to that. When it comes to wanting to leave the organization, don't take it from me. Just save your money. Save your money and find yourself a house to live before you even question or leave, because it's gonna backfire on you. But yeah.
You know what? I think you know what you're talking about, definitely, because if you would have
Right.
known that was gonna happen and you were gonna be out there, you would have never thought that you were gonna be sleeping in your car,
Right. Right.
you know? So I'm
Yep.
glad that your cousin, who is not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, is actually helping out because these witnesses, they always try to act like they're the nicest people in the world, and they would
Yep.
throw you to the wolves in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So, my heart goes out to your cousin. I'm glad that
Yeah.
it's a woman, right?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. So my heart goes out to your cousin. I'm glad that she's providing you all a place to stay because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. 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 I
All
thank
right.
her too every day.
Yeah. So MJ, so is there anything else that you want to share with my audience that maybe I didn't, cover in this discussion?
No, that's all. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested in watching videos regarding doctrine and how I break it down, you can always follow me on YouTube. I also have TikTok where I'm more on a personal level, one on one, so to speak. But yeah, you can reach me out there, or even send me a message on Facebook. You can friend me on Facebook, whatever. I'm a pretty open guy, so yeah.
And give us the name of your YouTube channel, please.
XJWMJ. That's
All
my
right,
YouTube channel.
XJWMJ. See it on the screen right here. I'll put your picture up here.
Cool.
And your Facebook page is what?
So my Facebook page is at lewismejias.fb, because Lewis is actually my real name. That was another thing. MJ is an abbreviation of my last name, because when you become an XJW, you got to mask your name. So MJ was the name I chose. So
That's why I'm Lady C. Everybody's always saying, "What is your name?" I
right.
said, "Lady C is my security guard."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Shame on that guy for doing that to you. I mean, that is just crazy how
Yeah.
people can do that, you know? So, yeah, so you don't miss nobody now, do you?
I don't. You know, it's crazy because right now I work with about 40 Jehovah's Witnesses currently, because
What?
I'm a school bus driver. So we have 170 employees, and about 40 of them are Jehovah's Witnesses. So I see them every single day. So I've learned to just like deal with it, and it doesn't bother me. So I don't miss. I can't say I miss them because I see them every day, and I laugh at them sometimes because the things that they've done, the things that they still do. If the congregation knew what they're doing, you know. But,
Oh, they doing bad stuff?
I mean, I don't know. They're just. I wouldn't say they're being spiritually strong. I guess I don't know.
I know. You just, sometimes you just got to just wipe your
Wash
hands.
your hands out. Yep.
You do. You do. You have to just leave them people alone. They're in a cult, you know?
Right.
All right, MJ, it's been real.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for being on the program. All
Yeah.
right, y'all. This has been Lady C, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to this two-part series of MJ's story. If you missed part 1, you'll find the link in the description below. If you've had a similar experience, we'd love to hear your story in the comments. Thanks so much for being part of our audience. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next episode.